I turned 32 exactly 4 months before my family decided to orchestrate my public execution for internet clout. They didn't just film a disagreement. They produced a short film. They storyboarded my humiliation, color graded my eviction, and synced my supposed failure to a trending audio track about deadbeat adults. The video, which they titled The Purge, Parasite Edition, opened with a cinematic shot of my mother, Eleanor. She was sitting at her vanity in the master bedroom, the ring light reflecting in her eyes, performing the heartbroken matriarch routine to perfection. She looked into the lens, mascara artfully smudged, and whispered about how a mother's love has limits. She spoke about emotional vampires and how she had given every ounce of her soul to a son who only knew how to take. She claimed she was finally cutting the cord for my own good. It was an Academy Award-worthy performance of tough love. Cut to the driveway. My father, Marcus, was standing by the open garage, aggressively tossing black heavy-duty trash bags onto the pavement. He was wearing his working man flannel, a shirt I'd never seen him wear in real life, and lecturing the camera about how real men build their own castles. They don't squat in their parents' basements. He looked straight into the lens and said, "Sometimes you have to break them to make them." Then came the supporting cast. My younger brother, Julian, did a walk-and-talk segment through the hallway, mocking the audacity of the main character, me, who thought the world owed him a living. My sister, Harper, finished the video with an infographic-style overlay, citing made-up statistics about failure to launch syndrome, tagging the video with hashtag tough love, hashtag adulting, and hashtag bye-bye mooch. It hit 1 million views in 72 hours. The comments section was a firing squad. Thousands of strangers were dissecting my character. They called me a waste of oxygen. They praised my parents for their bravery. They speculated that I was likely an addict, a gamer with no ambition, or mentally unstable. One comment, liked by 3,000 people, said, "Imagine being in your 30s and needing your daddy to buy your cereal. Pathetic." I found the video because a former colleague of Harper's sent it to me, not to warn me, but because she thought it was hilarious. She messaged me saying, "Your family has zero chill, lol. Did you actually keep the beanbag chair?" I opened the link while sitting in my office. I'm a supply chain logistics manager for a pharmaceutical distributor. I was wearing a tailored suit, reviewing a 6-figure contract, watching my family portray me as an unemployed hobbit. I watched it 4 times. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I felt a cold, metallic calm wash over me. I downloaded the video. I screen recorded the comments. I archived the entire account. Then I went home to the condo I had been renting for 3 months, a fact my family conveniently omitted from their narrative, and I sat in the silence. Here's what the video didn't show. Here's the context that wouldn't fit in a 60-second clip. I hadn't lived at home because I was broke. I had lived there because they begged me to. 3 years ago, my father, a luxury car salesman who relied heavily on commission, lost his license due to a DUI. He couldn't work. My mother, Eleanor, had never worked a day in her life. Her job was serving as a treasurer for the local homeowners association and planning elaborate garden parties. Julian was 27, working 10 hours a week as a barista and spending the rest of his time trying to become a lifestyle influencer. Harper was 25, fresh out of her 4th attempt at a college major, and living at home for free. They approached me. They sat me down at the dining room table and wept. They told me they were going to lose the house, the sprawling 4-bedroom colonial in the upscale Oakbridge estates that they used to signal their status to the world. They asked me to move back in, just for a few months, to stabilize the ship. I was 29. I had my own apartment downtown. I had a 401k. But they were family. So I broke my lease. I moved into my old bedroom. My father said it would be 6 months. It turned into 3 years. For 3 years, I paid the mortgage, which was $2,200 a month. I paid the utilities. I paid for the landscaping because what would the neighbors think if the grass died? I paid for the repairs on the HVAC system when it blew in the middle of July. While I was doing this, Julian was buying designer sneakers and posting unboxing videos. Harper was going to Coachella on a VIP pass she manifested, which actually meant she used my mother's credit card. which I was paying off. 4 months before their viral video, I told them I was done. I had found a new condo. I gave them a 60-day notice. The reaction wasn't gratitude. It was panic. My father screamed that I was abandoning the family in their time of need. My mother did the crying routine, the real one, asking how they were supposed to eat. I told them Julian could pay rent. I told them Harper could get a full-time job. I told my father to find a job that didn't require driving. I moved out. I helped them create a budget before I left. I showed them that if they cut the cable, the country club membership, and the organic grocery delivery, they could survive on Julian's income if he went full-time. They called me selfish. They said I had changed. Then silence for 2 months, until the video dropped. They had filmed it in my empty room. The trash bags my father was throwing, they were filled with old pillows and blankets from the linen closet. The narrative was a complete fabrication designed to save their ego. They couldn't admit to their social circle that their son had left them to fend for themselves because they were bad with money. It was easier to pretend they had kicked me out because I was a failure. It preserved their status. It made them the heroes of their own story. I watched their follower count climb. 10,000, 50,000. They started doing live sessions, answering questions about tough love parenting. My mother was giving advice to other parents on how to evict their adult children. I didn't comment. I didn't text them. I went to work. And for 3 weeks, I prepared. While they were enjoying their 15 minutes of fame, I was conducting a forensic audit of my own life. I pulled 3 years of bank statements. I highlighted every transfer to mom and dad joint. I downloaded the receipts for the roof repair, the HVAC replacement, the new refrigerator. I found the text messages where my father asked me to cover the car insurance because things are tight this month. I found the email thread where my mother thanked me for paying off the credit card so she could keep her platinum status. I compiled it all. A 3-year ledger of their survival, funded entirely by the parasite. Then I looked outward. I contacted the neighbors who had watched me leave for work every morning at 7 a.m. while Julian slept until noon. I contacted the contractor who fixed the roof and had me sign the check. I contacted my Aunt Vivian, my father's estranged sister, who had always suspected the truth. I hired a lawyer named Silas. Silas was expensive, terrifyingly quiet, and specialized in defamation. I showed him the video. I showed him the ledger. Silas looked at the spreadsheet, then at the TikTok engagement numbers. "This isn't just a dispute," he said, adjusting his glasses. "This is a business model built on a lie that is actively damaging your professional reputation." He was right. People from my industry had seen it. A competitor had made a snide remark at a conference about living at home. It was affecting my standing. We filed the suit on a Tuesday. Defamation, libel, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. We didn't ask for a small retraction. We asked for damages calculated based on the view count and the potential impact on my career earnings. But I didn't stop at the lawsuit. The lawsuit was for the courts. I wanted to correct a record in the court of public opinion. Specifically, they're public. I created a digital dossier. It contained the video, the spreadsheet of payments totaling nearly $55,000 over 3 years, the time-stamped text messages proving I had moved out months prior, and the eviction notice I had given them. I sent this dossier to my father's former employer, where he was trying to get rehired in a consulting role. I sent it to the HOA board where my mother served as treasurer. I sent it to the corporate office of the retail chain where Harper had just landed a job as an assistant buyer, a job she got by lying about her background. I sent it to the manager of the coffee shop, where Julian worked. I attached a polite cover letter. Asterisk, I believe you should be aware of the fraudulent nature of the viral content involving your employee/associate, as it demonstrates a concerning lack of integrity and a willingness to fabricate reality for financial gain. Asterisk, the papers were served on a Friday afternoon. My phone started ringing at 4:30 p.m. First my father, then my mother, then Harper, then Julian, then my father again. I let it ring. By 6 p.m., I had 42 missed calls. The voicemails were a masterclass in shifting narratives. Voicemail 1, Father, Elias, what is this? A sheriff just handed me a lawsuit? Call me immediately. This is ridiculous. Voicemail for mother, how could you? We are your family. You're suing your own mother? After everything I did for you? Voicemail 9, Harper, you're actually psychotic. It was a joke, Elias. A joke. You're going to ruin everything. Voicemail 15, Julian bro, my boss just pulled me into the office. He saw the financial records you sent. Why would you do that? I'm getting written up for creating a hostile work environment online. Pick up the phone. I sat on my balcony, drinking a sparkling water, watching the sun set over the city. I felt lighter than I had in years. By Saturday morning, the tone had shifted from anger to fear. My mother sent a text. Asterisk, please, let's talk. We can take the video down. Just stop this law stuff. Dad is hyperventilating. Asterisk, I didn't reply. The following Monday, the real consequences began to cascade. My mother was removed from the HOA board. Apparently, the other board members didn't like the optics of a treasurer who publicly lied about finances and scammed her own son. They cited a breach of ethical conduct. She lost her only source of power and social validation in the neighborhood. Harper was fired. Her corporate job had a strict social media policy regarding actions that reflect poorly on the company image. Being the star of a viral defamation campaign against a family member was apparently a red flag for a logistics company. My father's potential rehiring was rescinded. The dealership didn't want the drama. They were now a household of 4 adults with 1 part-time barista income, facing a massive lawsuit and living in a house they couldn't afford. A normal family would have folded. They would have issued an apology. But my family suffered from a terminal case of pride. Instead of apologizing, Julian went on the offensive. He posted a storytime video on Tuesday night. He sat in his gaming chair, looking somber, and told his followers that I was a narcissist who was suing them to control them. He claimed I had financial abused them by holding money over their heads. He said I was trying to silence their truth with expensive lawyers. He thinks his money makes him better than us, Julian said, wiping away a fake tear. He's tried to bankrupt his elderly parents because his ego got bruised. The internet ate it up for about 6 hours. See, I had anticipated this. My lawyer, Silas, had advised me to let them dig the hole deeper. Every lie they tell now is just adding zeros to the settlement, Silas told me. But then, something unexpected happened. The internet detectives got involved. A woman on TikTok who investigates fake viral stories found Julian's old Instagram posts. She found photos of him vacationing in Cabo San Lucas 2 years ago. During the time, he claimed to be starving. She found photos of Harper showing off a $2,000 handbag captioning it, "Treat yourself," dated 3 months ago. She juxtaposed these images with my financial records, which I had submitted as public evidence in the initial court filing. The court filings were public record. Anyone could pull them. She made a video titled, Asterisk, the poor family is lying, receipts attached. Asterisk, she walked through the timeline. Here is the date Elias paid the $2,200 mortgage. Here is the same day Julian posted a photo of bottle service at a club. Make it make sense. The tide turned with the violence of a tsunami. The comments on my family's page shifted from support to vitriol. People realized they had been duped. They felt manipulated. You guys aren't victims, you're grifters. So the brother paid for everything and you shamed him? That's evil. Show us the eviction notice. Oh, wait, you can't. My family's follower count didn't drop. It froze. They were being ratioed into oblivion. 3 weeks into the lawsuit, my Uncle Philip, my father's brother who usually stayed out of things, called me. He asked to meet for coffee. I agreed, but I chose a busy cafe near my office. When I arrived, my father was with him. It was an ambush. My father looked terrible. He had lost weight. His skin was gray. He looked like a man who hadn't slept in a month. Elias. Uncle Philip started, using his peacemaker voice. This has gone too far. Your mother is a wreck. She can't show her face at church. Harper is depressed. You've made your point. I haven't made a point, I said calmly. I'm protecting my legal interests. My father slammed his hand on the table. Legal interests? You're destroying us. We are your blood. You sent that packet to my old boss? Why? To be cruel? To provide context, I said. You told the world I was a failure. I showed the world I was your financier. If the truth destroys you, Marcus, that's a problem with the truth, not me. Drop the lawsuit. My father hissed. We can't afford a lawyer. We'll lose the house. You were going to lose the house 3 years ago. I reminded him. I bought you 3 years. You used those 3 years to ridicule me. I'm not dropping anything until you admit publicly that you lied. We can't do that, my father said, his voice cracking. It would humiliate us. You humiliated me to 1 million people, I said. You have 2 choices, public retraction and apology, or we go to discovery. And if we go to discovery, I will subpoena every single credit card statement. I will show the court exactly how much money Mom spent on consulting fees for her garden club while I was paying for your groceries. My father went pale. He knew what was in those statements. You wouldn't, he whispered. Try me. I stood up and left him at the table. Chapter 6. The collapse. The discovery phase never happened. They couldn't afford the retainer for their defense attorney. To get that far, the bank, seeing the chaos and the lack of income, accelerated the foreclosure process. It turned out they hadn't paid the mortgage since the day I moved out. They had assumed the viral fame would bring in brand deals to save them. They had bet the house on TikTok, and they lost. 6 weeks after the video went up, their account was permanently banned for violating community guidelines regarding harassment and misinformation. The revenue stream they dreamed of evaporated. Then came the text. Mother, asterisk, we have to be out in 30 days. Are you happy? You've made your parents homeless. Asterisk, Harper, asterisk, I hope you rot. I'm sleeping on a friend's couch because of you. Asterisk, Julian, asterisk, you win. Can I borrow $500? I need to put a deposit on a room. Asterisk, I didn't block them. I wanted the record. I forwarded every text to Silas to add to the harassment file. I didn't reply to any of them. Then Aunt Vivian called. She had always been the black sheep because she refused to play my mother's status games. Elias, she said, sounding tired. They're at my house. They showed up with a U-Haul. I told them they can stay for 2 weeks. But that's it. I wanted to tell you that I saw the records. I knew they were bad with money. But I didn't know they were bleeding you dry. I'm sorry I didn't step in sooner. It's not your fault, Aunt Viv, I said. Your father is crying in my kitchen right now, she said. He keeps saying he doesn't understand what happened. He truly believes he's a victim. He has to believe that, I said. Otherwise, he has to admit he's a failure as a father and a provider. His ego won't let him survive that realization. We settled the lawsuit 2 months later. Not for money. They had none. The terms were simple. 1, they signed a document admitting the video was staged and defamatory. 2, they post a permanent public apology on their personal Facebook pages, the only social media they had left, tagging all their friends and family. 3, they agreed to a permanent non-disparagement clause. If they ever speak about me publicly again, they owe me $50,000 immediately. They signed it. They had no choice. I read the apology on my mother's Facebook page. It was stiff, clearly written by a lawyer, but it did the job. We regret the video posted regarding our son, Elias. The events depicted were dramatized and did not reflect reality. Elias has supported us financially for years, and we are grateful. We apologize for the harm caused to his reputation. It got 45 likes. Most of them were from confusion. The people who mattered, the family, the neighbors, the church group, saw it. The illusion of the perfect Oakbridge family was shattered. It has been 8 months since the settlement. The house in Oakbridge was sold at auction. I drove by it once. There was a dumpster in the driveway filled with the remnants of their life, the things they couldn't fit into their new reality. My parents are currently living in a 2-bedroom apartment in a complex near the highway. It's a 40-minute drive from their old life. My father is working as a greeter at a wholesale club. My mother is working part-time as a receptionist at a dental office. It's the first time she has punched a clock in 40 years. Harper is working 2 retail jobs and living with 3 roommates. She blocked me on everything, but I heard from a cousin that she's working on herself. Julian. Surprisingly, Julian was the only one who pivoted. He stopped the influencer act. He got a job in construction. Hard labor. I saw him once from a distance at a gas station. He looked dirty, tired, and real. He saw me, hesitated, gave a sharp nod, and got back in his truck. He didn't ask for money. That was progress. As for me, I got a promotion at work. My boss, who saw the whole saga unfold, told me he admired my crisis management skills. I spent Thanksgiving alone. I ordered a high-end steak dinner, opened a bottle of expensive red wine, and watched a movie. It was quiet. Some people tell me I was too harsh. They say, you can't choose your family. They are right. You can't choose where you come from, but you can choose what you allow in your home. You can choose who gets a seat at your table. They wanted to teach me a lesson about the real world. They wanted to show me that actions have consequences. I learned the lesson perfectly, and then I taught it back to them.